Hello twin soul. In this video, I'm going to talk about some astrological aspects regarding twin flame relationship. So in the astrology, you must have come across the term synastry. Then I think some people may not be aware about what is the concept of synastry. Synastry is the study of astrology that will tell you the connection between the planets in the birth chart between two individuals and what kind of lessons they are supposed to learn, what kind of past relationships they had, we can predict. So many people are interested in knowing that if they are soulmates by looking at their birth charts. In Vedic astrology, we do Kundali Milan, but that is very different from this thing. This thing, like two people destined to be together, but what are the lessons? Or is there any karmic attachment? So this Raste aspects will help you to understand if they are your true twin. It's just a warning to you to not rely on these astrological combinations just to make sure that that person is your twin flame or not. Here I'm giving some examples so that you can understand what are the synastry points for any twin flame connection. That may go with the soulmate connection, but I'm doing this particularly for twin flame connection. If you understand this, if you're very sure about it, that person is your twin flame, by studying the synastry points, you can study what are the major karmic lessons that are in your relationship. So that will help you finally to understand this. Okay. So now, if you are not aware about, there are three ways we study the aspects. It's like a first one is a conjunction. So conjunction is the planets overlapping in the same house. So for example, you are having Venus in Aries, that person is also having Venus in Aries. That is what we call conjunction. Okay. And the second thing is called as a square. So what is square? It means that 90-degree difference between the houses. So each in birth chart, each house account for 30 degrees. So when I say square, I mean to say that the house is 90-degree away. Okay. So 90-degree away means will be three houses after that particular house. So for example, if you are in house 7, so the square will be the 7, 8, 9. So wherever the ninth house is there, that is your square. Okay, because when we are counting the houses, we are counting the house itself. The first house we are counting from that also. Okay, and then there is concept of trine. Trine is the 120 degrees, so it will be like a 4 houses difference. Okay, and there is opposition. It's like you are having the opposite. For example, Aries and Libra, these are the opposition signs. So they are exactly difference of 7 houses. Okay, so starting with the first aspect, that's the sun moon aspect. So sometimes your sun, your moon are conjuncting, like your sun falling on his moon falling on your sun. For example, your Taurus sun and he's a Taurus moon, your Scorpio moon, he's Scorpio sun. So in this aspect, you can have a strong emotional spiritual connection, and this kind of energies could be called as yin yang energies. So they are challenging but yet complementary to each other. Okay, so these kind of aspects works well in a conjunction, and in trine and sextile also. It will enhance your harmony in a relationship. Okay, the next one is the moon Venus aspect. So what is the moon Venus aspects? Mostly moon Venus aspect should be seen from conjunction, trine, or opposition in conjunction. So for example, your moon and his moon falls on the same side, so that will create the same level of emotional maturity between two people. Okay, and what if your moon is in one side and his Venus in that same sign? That is also create some romantic connection. So for example, you are a Scorpio moon and that person has Venus in Scorpio, so that will create emotional type of romantic relationship. Okay, but when this aspect comes in opposition, so for example, your moon in Libra and his Venus in Aries, so in that case, that will create an emotional up down in a relationship. Okay, so there will be some karmic attachments that karma has to be healed in that particular relationship. Next one is a Venus Mars aspect. What is a Venus Mars aspect? You must have seen these aspects for soulmate relationships, that there is a connection between your Mars and his Venus. So your Mars and his Venus falling to the same sign. Your Mars in Cancer and his Venus in Cancer. That is what we call conjunction. So that will create intense passion, attraction. But sometimes this aspects merely create sexual attraction or passion. So the other aspect has to be studied also. So mostly Venus Mars aspects gives you romantic and sexual chemistry. But when they are in a trine is after with the house of say 3 houses difference, 4 houses difference. In that case, it will be harmonious. Okay, when they are conjuncted, it creates intense passion. When they are trying to each other, it creates a harmonious and fulfilling romantic connection. Okay, and when it comes to the opposition, like your Mars in a Libra and his Venus in Aries. Okay, so in that case, the attraction is there, but there will be some conflicts in expression of your desires. So the expression of love is the problem in that aspects. Okay, Sun Pluto and Moon Pluto aspects, that person could bring a deepest transformation in your life. Okay, so it's like a that person will force you to go to that spiritual awakening. So your Sun is conjuncting with his Pluto. So your Sun is in Gemini and his Pluto is in Gemini. That Pluto person will create havoc in your life. So whoever having that Pluto, that will create. So that could go vice versa. Okay, same goes for Moon and Pluto. Okay, that will also create a profound soul connection. What happens when this aspects happens in a square or opposition? It will create a karmic cycle. So there will be some obsessive energies in terms of romantic relationship, and there will be some patterns that are being repeated, and there will be some cycles. So if you find in this aspect of Moon Pluto and Sun Pluto, you have to look for some karmic patterns or cycles that exist in your relationship, and you have to work on that. In my next video, I will probably talking about one by one how your birth chart study will help you understand the lessons. So I will take my birth chart and my twins birth chart as an example. So that will give you more insights. Only if this video gets acknowledgement, I will go further. The north node south node connections, these are also the north or south nodes, they are a very strong karmic indicators. So when you're having a very big karmic package, you have a karmic, you can say fated meeting. So the fated connections are seen through the north node south node. So in that case, when your north node conjunct with the sun, moon, Venus or Mars, so whatever the planet your north node is conjuncting, in this case we mostly look for the conjunct. We don't see trine or square in case of north node or south node, because they transit in a reverse directions. So north node conjuncting to the sun or the moon or the Venus or the Mars, that will create a very challenging relationship that will push you to your spiritual growth. Okay, so here the relationship will change your life for good when you're not no conjunct conjuncting with that person's Venus, moon or Mars. Same goes for south node. Okay, so whenever there's a whenever there's a north node is a Rahu, and then the Rahu is kind of, it creates a Maya, it creates illusion. Okay, and when the bubble burst, you came to the reality, and you face the reality. That is how the Rahu works. In the south node, that is Ketu. The Ketu is all about the past lives. So when your Ketu is conjuncting with that person's moon, Venus, Mars, so depending on each planet behavior, that will be varying. But generically, it will be like you have some instant recognition. Like this is mostly seen in case of karmic partners. So I'm talking about the karmic twin flames or the false twin flames, you call it, name it. So these people are the karmic third parties. These people might have this kind of combinations that they are in your life. You will feel connection, because if you don't feel connection, you're less like to get married to that person, you're less like to get connected to that person. But universe makes these connections on the basis of instant attraction, so that these people will come together and they will resolve that karma that is coming from the past life. So the karma will be resolved once you learn the lesson. So depending on the planet, depending on the house, you will understand what are the lessons in that relationship. And once you learn that lesson, the relationship dissolves. Okay, so if there are any third parties, you have to look for the what is the house they are conjugating, what is the sign, and what is the degrees. Okay, so that will help you to understand the lesson in that particular connection. Next is the Mercury aspect. Is a very little to be considered aspect in my perspective. That is more dealing about the communication. So if there is no communication or misunderstood communication between the partners, the Mercury is could be the reason. So mostly when you have a Mercury in opposite signs, like you are a Mercury in a Aries and he's Mercury in a Libra, or you can say the sign difference between Mercury is of the for 120 degrees or the 90 degrees or the opposition. In that case, miscommunication. So you have to overcome that miscommunication. So many twin flames face this problem, like they having a lot of respect, love for each other, but when they just communicate, it's like a blunder. So sometimes it feels like not to talk to your twin flame. So the silence is better, because when you're saying something, yeah, it's only creating misunderstanding. So that could be related to your Mercury. So you have to work on your Mercury. Okay, and the last one is, but the most important aspect is the Saturn aspect. So where your Saturn is there are karmic lessons always there. Okay, so Saturn conjuncting or opposite to your moon, Venus or sun, it will create a long-term impact, karmic responsibility. So it will like, you will feel like you're bound to that person. So there is no escape. Okay, so there is no escape. It's like a, you can say, enslaved or tightened with that person. So sometimes it depending on the planet position, it could be in a positive sense and a negative sense. So as we know that twin flames are destined to be together. So that connection, that feeling of bound to each other is was in some positive sense. But what if that is some narcissistic karmic person? You're dealing with that person and you feel that karmic responsibility. This could be your parent, this could be your spouse, and you feel like there is no escape from this responsibility. In that case, the Saturn is can be the reason. So maybe your Saturn is in Scorpio and his Venus is in Scorpio. In that case, also you will mostly marriage kind of thing will be there. So you might be in a romantic relationship. When there is a sun, when there is a moon, it could be coming through your parents. Okay, and when it is in a trine with a difference of 120 degree, in that case, this is a good combination. Okay, this is a good combination for Saturn. So these are some aspects that that will create some combinations for twin flames. Other than that, mostly the Venus, Mars, Pluto, North Node, South Node. These are the some. You can say these are some planets that are keep in your twin flame journey. And the Saturn is also all about the lessons. So mostly if you're having Saturn in your fifth house, so there will be some, you will be encountering some relationships before you're actually meeting your twin flame. So all the people who are having Saturn in the fifth house, they must have gone through some karmic relationship I'm mostly talking about before meeting their actual twin. The people who are having Saturn in the seventh house, they mostly have gone through some karmic marriage breakup, divorce before meeting that true twin. Okay, so this is the overall synastry. Okay, so depending on the synastry aspect, whether it's conjunction, is a very, so in summary I would say that if there is a conjunction, it is a very powerful conjunction, so that could be positive or negative. Okay, in the square or opposition, square means in the 90 degrees apart, or the opposition in the opposite houses, it creates a good attraction, but also comes up with the lessons. And when you talk about trine or sextile, it is a smooth, okay, that is a soul level connection for any of these planets. Okay, so it is good to have trine and sextile in your birth chart rather than having the direct conjunctions. The direct conjunctions will create some problems. Okay, so finally, I would conclude that whatever your birth chart says, it has a key information about the lessons you need to learn. So I'm just giving some example. I will close this video. My twin has Venus, Rahu, Sun in 5th house, and that is in a Libra, and I'm a Libra ascendant. So the synastry aspect of ascendant also works well in this case. So his Rahu is conjuncting with my ascendant. His Venus is conjuncting with my ascendant. So this creates his obsession towards my personality. Okay, and in this case, me being my Libra ascendant but having no planets, I am not understanding why I am also obsessed with this person. The obsession start from that person, and then you feel that why there is so obsession. Okay, also his Mars is in a Scorpio. Okay, his Mars in a Scorpio, is Jupiter in a Scorpio. But in case of my Venus and Moon, it's in a Pisces. So we both are water sign, so we are very emotional with each other. But since he's in a Scorpio Moon and I'm being a Venus Pisces, that creates some understanding of love relationship differences between us. So this is how you understand the houses, the planets makes difference between the birth charts. So you can work on those houses, those planets. You can do the remedies for those planets. Okay, and this will definitely work. Okay, so this is all for today. Thank you.